What's up, Reject Nation? I'm Greg Albo. And I'm John Humphrey. I'm so alone. What is shakin', rejects of the nation? Yes, it is me, John Humphrey. Where's Greg, you ask? He is away with his lady companion on a little vacay, much needed. Times have been a little thick lately, so I'm holding down the fort. So for the most part, it's just gonna be me, and you're gonna have to deal with that. Me and the four cats, I got them editing videos, and I'm gonna check out some new Star Wars because this morning, the Disney YouTube channel dropped a Rise of Skywalker clip as well as a special look. Before we hop into this, just wanted to say thanks to everybody who's been checking us out on the Patreon. Patreon.com/TheRealRejects is where you can go if you love this channel, if you want to help support and take advantage of some of our exclusive content. We do Q&As weekly, TV show reaction stream-alongs for a bunch of shows. Some of those shows have reaction highlights included, 10 minutes of footage cut down so you don't have to worry about the sync if you don't want to. And if you want to get our first opinion on the latest movies as well as trailers and stuff we don't cover here, go ahead and check us out on the Stardust app as well. Now, let's get into this!
We spotted the fugitives.
Funny, it reminds me of that first teaser. Finn comes up over the... Oh! Rey with a blaster. Whoa! That's a... Oh, cool. Alright.
They fly now! They fly now! They fly now!
Self-aware humor. I mean, this was cool. This is it's, you know, not the most substantial clip in the world, but as far as rip-snorting, rollicking Star Wars action goes, especially on the heels of The Mandalorian, I almost wonder if that's why they put this particular clip out, is just due to the sheer popularity of The Mandalorian, and maybe in some kind of subconscious way, they are using the desert setting of this and the shootout, cat and mouse chase element. Star Wars is always borrowed in some regard from Westerns, but this definitely feels like something that wants to hearken to the goodwill that has built. But hey, I mean, this is a cool clip. I mean, there's not much to say about it. The design's cool. That first shot did remind me of Finn coming over the ridge in the Force Awakens tease that first time. I like the, just while we're here, while we're still talking about Star Wars, I like the upgrades they've made to the Stormtrooper armor and stuff like that. I'm really just appreciating, especially as the stakes surrounding just the quality of this film loom and affect the anticipation process. I do really lose myself, I think, the most. I get the most joy out of just like soaking in these images and looking at the designs and stuff. I know we talk about that a lot. These cruisers are cool. I like this launch pad bike they've got, this like catapult bike the Stormtroopers are on. The jetpacks are fun I mean, you know, it's a reasonable upgrade, I guess, and it's cool to see Rey, you know, throwing down with a blaster. From all the footage we've seen, and I don't know how long this movie is going to be, but it certainly seems as though this movie is going to traverse a lot of different areas and territories. You've got Rey alone doing the training thing at one point, and then you've got everyone together here. There's stuff in space. It does look very sprawling from these glimpses that we're getting, and yeah, I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's not much of a scene, really. I mean, it just hints that, okay, this is probably going to be a cool extended action sequence when the actual movie hits. And, you know, the bit at the end with the whole, like, they got jetpacks now. That's alright. I feel like it's gonna have to obviously breathe in the scene. It does smack a little bit of popular self-aware humor that everybody loves right now, and kind of awkward comic timing. But, you know, that's this is obviously engineered to give you a 30-second breadth of feelings about this movie, or flavors from it. But anyway, let's move on to the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker special look, and wash ourselves in some more nostalgia. Here we go. Woo! Dude, met John Boyega at my first Comic-Con.
North America's newspapers is none other than Star Wars Jedi. You can't run. Star Wars Frenzy.
It is always awesome to see the droids like
the word
in
Star
the
Wars.
world.
217, take 9.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
I was 11 years old. It was in a magazine, and I remember seeing the words and saying, allowed Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Have you even seen Star Wars? She's never seen Star Wars?
Here's some money. Go see a Star Wars.
Star Wars is just an important part of everyone's history.
He signed his action figure.
I sat outside the theater to watch them at midnight with my dad.
It was designed to inspire the imaginations of every girl or boy who yearns for adventure.
People's love for it. It's just massive.
It's the event that has become a cultural phenomenon.
Guerra de las Galaxias.
C'est pas victime, princess.
Star Wars is a milestone for people.
The Force is with us.
I gotta get to Star Wars.
You're more than just fans, you're family.
It's something that people carry with them now, forever and ever.
Now with the final trailer for the Skywalker saga release,
I can still be a part of the family costume.
you are
We were there. Do you remember where you were when the last Rise of Skywalker trailer?
Jedi. Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it. They're sharing something that moved them.
Oh, there was a little bit of prequel footage.
You're glad that you're finishing, but savoring every moment because you know it is the last.
You know it is the last. That's an interesting sentiment to leave that off on. I mean, this is ostensibly the last of the Skywalker saga films, yes. Although even that, to me, remains to be seen. Because I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I'm not going to go off into a tangent. I think this was really nice. And it's funny, this reminded me a lot of a video we just watched that, as of this posting, is not edited and up yet, but it will be in the next day or two. The Patrick H. Willems video essay about how Star Wars trailers weaponize nostalgia. And these both, but especially this little special look here, got me thinking back to that video because he does a really excellent breakdown just of how they use the different themes from the scores to the different films, as well as different kinds of images and the way that they build an ebb and flow of emotion with that. And I thought about that a lot during this special look just because it does obviously borrow from images across time, not so much across the early 2000s when the prequels were coming out. There's a little bit of that footage in here, but you know, I thought this was at least a nice little ode to just the place in culture that Star Wars holds. I mean, I know it's easy to be cynical about Star Wars in some ways. I get that way sometimes just because Star Wars is responsible for so much of how the movie industry works and how movies themselves, especially on a mass scale, operate. And it's funny because, you know, there's a double-edged sword to that, but what something like this is nice at reminding us about, or at least me about, is how nice it is that we can all share. So, like, I get it's just a movie. It's just a story. But I do think that there is, in the right context, an importance to that, and it's nice to see how everybody, from top to bottom, from just people taking in the movies and really enjoying them and supporting them, to the people who are directly helming them, all share this kind of magical... I feel like if anybody cares about Star Wars, and I'm not even the world's biggest Star Wars fan, I appreciate Star Wars, and there's definitely a lot about it I do really enjoy and love. I definitely grew up on the original films as like a staple of my young life. So I feel like there's a certain just aura that you think of, and I wonder also too, you could probably look at how Lucasfilm, Disney, etc. have sculpted this over time. But this definitely felt like that sort of the best of Star Wars, you know, this congregational love and the way that it has impacted and touched and sort of sent its tendrils out towards so many different avenues of our culture. You look behind the scenes with things like movie merchandising and franchising and stuff like that, but just the way that, yeah, it has seeped its way into the cultural lexicon. It's in all these sitcoms and stuff. They even acknowledge Spaceballs, especially there are moments for Peter Mayhew and Carrie Fisher in here. You know, you got Obama, you got even President Reagan from back in the day, Family Guy, stuff on the news. There's a little nod to reaction videos and stuff like that. Didn't make it into this comp. Didn't make it into this compilation, but that's okay. And now you've got people who were growing up as fans who are now in the movies and leading them forward and like geeking out when Harrison Ford signs somebody's Han toy, you know? It is sweet in a way, as much as, yeah, you can get cynical about, you know, evil lord business and stuff like that. I love the inclusion of like the astronauts, the little Lego Star Wars setup, Homer spoiling the ending, which is great too, because like that even acknowledges in a small way just the cultural impact on the whole conversation around spoilers. Star Wars is one of the most famously spoiled films of all time. And so yeah, to even have Homer in there I thought was just a really nice, like this does kind of sweep certain things under the rug or not bother to remind you of certain things about Star Wars we don't all necessarily love, but I thought they did at least do a nice job of spreading it around to different areas, not just from within, but also the different cheeky ways it's impacted culture and stuff like that. And now this has me thinking back, like my first Comic-Con, my buddy Aaron, who I used to do the Dank Ass Stubbs podcast with, saw Attack the Block at an early screening, and Joe Cornish and John Boyega were both there, and on some old telephone of mine, I have like a grainy picture of me and John Boyega from way back in the day. So that's you know, pretty rad to see him like shoot up, and all these other people too. I don't know, this is pretty fun. So yeah, what did you guys think? Did you enjoy this clip? Are you still looking forward to the Rise of Skywalker? Are you still not looking forward to the Rise of Skywalker? Leave your thoughts down there, and how'd you feel about the special look? Do you share this nostalgia, or do you think that this is, you know, just a manipulative way to reinforce the fan culture, man? Whatever it is, leave it in the comments, and yeah, you can subscribe to the Reject Nation, hit that notification bell to get updated every time a review or a video is out. If you'd be so kind as to check us out on Patreon, if you love the channel and want to help support, that would be amazing. Also the Stardust app. Much love to all of you guys. And before we wrap this up, I want to give a quick Patron of the Day shout out to my good friend Erica Tuesday. Erica is a badass artiste. She's working on some awesome stuff right now that I hope y'all get to see with your eyeballs in the near future. But Erica, you've been in stuff before. I mean, you've popped up animated in BoJack Horseman and things like that, but I think you would be a prime Star Wars. A Star Wars. You would be a great Star Wars. If you had like a cool, I could totally imagine you with like some kind of cool bandagey arm thing and then some kind of neat hooded smockish getup and, you know, some kind of interesting weapon of future sorts, you know, hanging out in a dune, you know, surveying a desert landscape, maybe eating a lizard or something, and then, you know, doing something on a cool, badass speed bike. I feel like that could be pretty fun. So get in good with the Disney people and get yourself, you know, inserted into maybe like one of the animations or something like that. I think that would be really cool. Anyway, shout out! This is dumb.